we welcome you back to our panel, Supporting the Bridge to Employment, moderated by a founding member and Chief Operating Officer of Zavikon. Let's put our hands together for Hilary Kokenda.
Oh, okay, it's up. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back from lunch. I'm Hilary Kokenda, co-founder and COO of Zavikon. We're just so thrilled with all the turnout and how everything's going today. So thank you for all of you being here. I think this is going to be a turning point for many, many good things to come. So you've had all these really exciting speeches about entertainment and movies and film, and we're going to start talking about government programs. So get really, really excited. And I may have just stolen Michael Luna's joke. I did, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm with Zavikon. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview. Very brief. The stars of the show are going to be Michael Luna and Lauren Libero from DDS, as well as Maureen McIntyre from the Department of Rehabilitation. They're going to get into the programs and everything that they offer, and I'm just going to kind of introduce them. So quickly, again, I'm with Zavikon. The primary objective of our company is to find opportunity and to place individuals in career-oriented, meaningful jobs. We believe everybody has a right to that, and we are here to find the right person in the right position, in the right environment, so that everybody can thrive. And we are seeing it happen, and it's amazing, and we want to keep with this movement, we want to keep it growing, and we believe that today is going to help us do that. So, the state of California has invested a significant amount of funds and time into improving employment outcomes. And at the forefront of that movement are the two organizations that we have here today. We're very excited. The DDS, as well as the Department of Rehabilitation. So quickly, I'm going to give high level, give you a feel for some of the programs that Zavikon has actually been leveraging with the help of these wonderful people to help open doors for a lot of the people here, and going forward, more and more people. So first of all, the employment grants. DDS has granted 45 recipients an employment grant to improve outcomes. Zavikon was one of the proud recipients. We are working to place individuals in competitive integrated employment as part of this grant. And also, Autism In Entertainment was another recipient of the grant. We are here because of DDS and because of this grant. Without it, we would not be here. And Michael Luna is going to be up in a moment. He's the man. He has been amazing, point of contact, tons of support. I think he's tired of getting emails from all of us, but he's been amazing. And then the other program that we have really been leveraging, and Michael's going to tell you more about, is the paid internship program, which has been fantastic. It provides up to 1,040 hours of wages covered by the regional center for individuals to get an opportunity. And we have been using this to open doors, get people in, and have employers have an experience, and interns have an experience, and it's just what it's doing, it is truly improving employment outcomes. And then, of course, the California Department of Rehabilitation has their own programs, which are doing, creating a lot of good too. There's adult work experience, which is up to 300 hours of competitive wages at a host business. There is on-the-job training, which is compensation for training programs provided by employers. And there's also the Pathways to Success program. This is pretty cool. It is a pilot program, and what it is doing, it is moving from geography-based supports to industry-based supports. So they're doing this whole pilot program, and there are a lot of available options to people in the program to help, again, open doors. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michael Luna.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Luna. I'm the Chief of the Work Services section with the California Department of Developmental Services. It's always great to speak after lunch when everyone is full and tired. If I look out in the crowd and people are not asleep, I feel that I have absolutely nailed it. And thank you so much to Judy and to Hilary. Everyone part of this program and getting this together has been a long year and a half, but seeing what is happening now it makes my heart warm. I know the department is incredibly excited. I know everyone here is incredibly excited, so thank you for that. And before I really get into my presentation, I promised my wife I would not gush about the kids, but she's gonna get mad at me anyway. But it's a really great opportunity to be here, I feel, for me, as I'm the father of a child actor who is deaf, and I also have 2 sons on the autism spectrum that are served by the regional center. This is an unbelievable opportunity to see these 2 worlds come together. And so it's truly an honor to be here, so thank you again to everyone who put this together. Okay, perfect. So the department serves multiple areas. From birth to death, we are supporting individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And while the department does serve all those different areas, we do want to key in on employment. That's why we're here. We're all about working and employment and so I'm going to go over how we support those individuals with their employment. We're going to be going over what the department does very quickly. We're going to talk about support employment, the paid internship program, which is going to be one of the greatest opportunities that we see for the businesses that are here today to take advantage of. I'm going to talk about a brand new service pilot we are launching called the Coordinated Career Pathways. We're going to get a little bit into some of our participant-directed services and then talking about our master plan for development. So the department has changed and grown over the years. And in 2022, with our community, we updated our vision statement and set our guiding principles. And we won't be going through all of them today, but I wanted to highlight the guiding principles of inclusion as they are particularly important to today's discussion. And we should support the individual to access the services they need and meaningfully participate in their communities, including the workforce and the industry of their choosing. So what makes DDS a little bit separate from other departments is that we have what's called the Latterman Act. And this is a law that makes it a right for individuals with developmental disabilities to lead as independently of a life as possible with supports in place. And DDS currently serves over 430,000 Californians with developmental disabilities. But we don't do it alone. We contract with 21 nonprofit regional centers throughout the state. And so the department has 5 qualifying categories that was defined through the Latterman Act, and that's cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, autism, epilepsy, and any related condition that doesn't fall into those first 4 categories, but the disability functions as an intellectual or developmental disability. And the disability itself has to have occurred before the age of 18. And it's important to say that because if there is a late diagnosis, that does not mean you don't qualify for services after 18. If we can verify that the disability has occurred before the age of 18, you still do qualify for regional center services. So as mentioned, almost dropped my mic. As mentioned, with the regional center, these services are available across the entire state through every aspect of life and providing support to the families as well. And regional centers are responsible for determining the eligibility, creating plans such as the individual family service plan and the individual program plan. They vendor those services with our providers, and they provide oversight and additional services. And each regional center has at least one employment specialist charged with overseeing the various employment supports and resources available. And I believe we have autism specialists too at all of them. Yes, and we also have an autism specialist available at every single regional center as well. So in a little bit, we're going to have our autism specialist, who is here, Lauren Libero, come up and talk a little bit more about some of these services. But I did want to share some demographic information about who DDS serves. So as you can see, 49% of who we serve in our regional center system are individuals on the autism spectrum. And that the autism diagnosis has seen the steadiest growth of any disability that we're serving. And so DDS itself serves over 178,000 individuals on the autism spectrum. And I really love this graph, mainly because that's the most state thing you've ever heard, right? I really love this graph and data. I really love this graph because one is showing where the current work market is at, and that 33% are in that current working age range. But I really liked that 24% and 11 to 17, because the relationships that we're establishing today is going to affect that future workforce. So again, this is such a great opportunity to really lay the groundwork for the years to come. And so as I get into talk more about employment, I'm going to be using CIE a lot. It's competitive integrated employment. So we look at it as meeting three essential functions: that they're making at least minimum wage or equal to individuals who are non-disabled, that they're working alongside individuals who are non-disabled. So that doesn't mean that it's a manager overseeing a floor of individual disabilities and not having opportunities to interact with their peers. No, this is alongside doing the exact same work as everyone else. And that they also have the same opportunity for the benefits and promotions and opportunities that would be available to anyone who may not have a disability. And so we do that through supported employment. So we have our contracted vendors throughout the state of California, and what they can be, services they can be provided are things like job coaching. Now, the role of a job coach is not to do the job for the individual. It's to actually help them facilitate communication or help them understand, break down job tasks to make sure that the work is being done. And then also they can work with the business to make sure that they have an understanding of how to best work with the individual that's on their team. They also provide that job development. There's that resume building. There's those interview skills. And we have two types of supported employment available from the regional centers. There's the individual placements, so that's one-on-one out in the community. And then there's group placements, where they may have 3 to 8 individuals that go out to a work site, and let's say they're doing administrative work or janitorial work, landscaping, things like that. They go as a group out into the community setting. And then we also have a thing called tailored day services, which is really flexible to the needs of the talent and accessing services that may not be available through our providers or through traditional services that the department provides. And so they can include functional and instructional skills focused on vocation and education in community-based environments. So really getting into the thing that I absolutely love talking about is our paid internship program. So this is 1,040 hours per year per internship that individuals served by a regional center can access. And this, again, we cover the wages of the individual to work at the business. And on the business side, we are covering the employer cost to take them on. Now, the employer of record for this does not have to be you as a business. There are 3 opportunities for the employer of record. It could be you as a business, it could be the vendor that's providing the job supports, or it can be a financial management system. So if there's concerns about putting people onto your employer record or onto your payroll, or worried about, or there's concerns about the workers' comp or anything like that, you do not have to be the employer of record. This is an absolutely free opportunity for the business to access and to bring people onto their team and really be shown how wonderful the individuals on the autism spectrum can access and work for you as a business. But they're also for the individuals in the audience, this is your opportunity too, to try out an internship and find out, is this the right fit for me? This is not just a one-way street. If you go into an internship and you say, I thought I would have a great time here, and I'm not, this really isn't what I want to focus on, that internship can end. You can start a new internship, and there's no loss at this at all. And I want to offer a really great paid internship example that utilizes kind of why we're here today. So one of our regional centers, the Tri-Counties Regional Center, have an individual that is a Hollywood producer that is on their executive board. And one of our employment director of community services, Diva Johnson, came up and said, hey, I have an idea. I would love to see the services that we're offered be more accessible to our individuals, and I think it's a great idea to do it through animation. So they were able to utilize the paid internship to hire on actors with lived experiences to put together these animated videos. And I know we're making this hopefully we'll be making this presentation available to everyone. You'll be able to go to our YouTube page, or to Tri-County's YouTube page, and check out the videos. There's also behind-the-scenes videos that really goes into how the individual's lived experience were the voice actors, that they were part of the production team. And also, if you're interested in learning more about the services that we offer, you can do it through here. Now, I believe that we might have had the actual executive producer of these videos, Joe Sichta. Oh, there he is. Hey, everyone, give him a big wave. And oh, boy. Please be kind when you report back to our department about my presentation. I would really appreciate it. But we really wanted to highlight this because this is, what more of a wonderful example that we have to bring to today's presentation than to see what Tri-Counties did. So thank you so much for
Can I say one thing?
Oh, sure.
Because Alex, who we got through the internship program, was a voice actor on the series, and ended up being a phenomenal production coordinator, and ended up doing all of the prop artwork. And so we really hit the jackpot working with Alex, who we got through Tri-Counties Regional Center in this internship program. Helped us has become a very valuable partner and part of our team. So it's a fabulous success.
Fantastic. If we have, yes. And I always find that the best people to talk to businesses about why it's good for business are people who are in the business. So I'm already going to volunteer you to be available for any of these production companies that want to ask about how you pulled on an internship. Please ask away. And I want to talk just a little bit about a brand new service pilot that we have launched called the Coordinated Career Pathways. Some of you may have heard about a law called SB 639. Currently in the state of California, you can pay sub-minimum wage to individuals with disabilities. That is going away next January. So we have, yes! But we have a lot of individuals that are currently earning sub-minimum wage that we want to make sure have opportunities for employment when those sub-minimum wage opportunities go away. And so one of the ways we're doing it is through our coordinated career pathways. So this is focused on individuals currently earning sub-minimum wage and are exiting that situation, or who are getting ready to exit high school. Because one of the things we also don't want is for individuals to leave high school and go straight to a day program and not be working. We are an employment-first state. We are an employment-first department. That should be the first opportunity for any individual with a disability, is that you are expected and you are desired and you are valuable to work. So this new service comes with 2 positions that providers can have. One of them is called a Career Pathway Navigator. And this is really someone that is taking the whole person approach. Not only the individual's wants and needs, but also what are the things around their lives that affect them, how their family dynamics, what's important to them and when it comes to working, and helps them develop that person-centered career plan. And once that plan is developed, it goes to our customized, or it can go to our customized employment specialists. And they are the ones that are doing the business engagements. They're the ones creating the jobs out in the community. And I think for any businesses that are here today, those customized employment specialists are also there to meet your needs. So as they're talking to you about what do you value as a business and where are those needs you have that need to be filled, and then helping the individuals access. So when you're talking, if you have an opportunity to meet with any of our regional centers, like I said, this just launched. We actually just sent it out last Monday, and we are expecting the actual program to launch around June, actually be put into implementation. So there's going to be a lot of information coming out about it. I hope you take a look at the department website and read more about the coordinated career pathways, and also there's more information about our paid internship. So now I'm actually going to step off for a minute. I'm going to invite Lauren, our autism specialist, who's going to talk a little bit about some of the other services that are available through the department. Just the green button.
Specialist, and I'm going to tell you about self-directed services, which is a broader program that we have through the department, but it can be leveraged for employment services, so I wanted to talk about that. So self-directed services can refer to our participant-directed program and also the self-determination program. So there are two different programs that fall under this category, but they both provide the ability to have individualized services where you choose who your provider is. So the person who provides the service, you can choose, you can hire them, you can schedule them based on the hours that work for you. And this can be a way to find providers or staff that might speak your language, they may be from your culture, or they might be from a service or an organization that isn't a vendor of a regional center. So there's a little bit more flexibility around what types of programs you can participate in. They'll still get funded. Using participant-directed services, if there's someone that you know that you want to hire as your job coach, for example, you could do that through your regional center funds. Through self-determination, this is an alternate path to those traditional services that most people are enrolled in. And the way that it tends to work is you enroll in self-determination, you go through an orientation, and then you meet with your program planning team, you develop your budget, and then you decide how your budget's going to be spent. So what types of services and supports do you need individually? And those could include things like job coaches. It could be going to some of the programs that you've heard about today to learn things like acting, animation, special effects. You can have the flexibility to fit your goals into your self-determined program. There's lots of different uses for it, and it just gives you more flexibility. Okay, let's see. Now I also wanted to mention the state is working on a master plan for developmental services. And there's a stakeholder committee that was recently appointed by the California Health and Human Services Secretary Galley, and they'll be working with our Health and Human Services Agency and our department to develop this brand new plan. They are determined to complete it by March of 2025, and this is going to be a really huge, monumental plan for our entire system. And it's going to focus on strengthening connections between our DDS system and other systems, because we know all of you access other services besides your disability-specific services. You might be accessing things like behavioral health or mental health services. You might have services through education, right, anywhere in the community. And we really want to have a plan for how all of those services are going to be connected and how they're going to work for you. And so it's really going to be like a roadmap for building those partnerships and really moving our system forward. Now, the committee is made up of diverse individuals. So we have individuals with disabilities and self-advocates on the committee. We have parents and caregivers, members from provider agencies, and then other system partners from Department of Aging and a few others who are going to be on the committee that's overseeing the development of the plan. But we're also going to have subcommittees that are going to be formed around specific topics. So we'll be selecting experts in different fields and different partners who are going to participate on those subcommittees. And then we're also going to be engaging with the public to get their input for the plan. And this is where some of you might come in. So we'll be hosting roundtables across the state to be getting public input. At each of the master plan meetings, there's also opportunity for public comment. And I really want to emphasize how this opportunity is for you to raise your voice. If you have thoughts about our service system, how our programs are working or maybe not working for you, this is an opportunity to have your voice heard and to have your thoughts and ideas implemented into our roadmap for the future of the system and the next generation of individuals with disabilities. Our first meeting is coming up next Wednesday. It's April 10th. You can attend in person in Sacramento if any of you flew down here for the day like myself, or you can attend virtually. There will be a link for you to attend virtually. So I encourage you to participate in that. There is information on the slide here. You can click the link. It'll take you to the information for the upcoming meetings, the subcommittees, and then you can also give public input through the email link on here. And then one last thought before I hand it back over to Michael. A few times today I've heard mention of summer like workshops or educational programs or summer internships, and I want to mention regional centers are also authorized to cover social recreation and camp services. So if there's a summer program that you heard about today in the gallery, or there's another program that you're thinking about attending, you should ask your service coordinator or your regional center whether that's something you could access through your services at the regional center. So I'm going to hand it back over to Michael. He's going to close us out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so hopefully we will be making this PowerPoint available. I have a lot of links in there. So we want to make sure you have ability to see our regional center contact list. So if you are not a current regional center consumer and you would like to be, or if you're interested in through the application process, you'll be able to see, find your local regional center through there. There's a link for our work services and also to learn more about DDS. So in my closing comments, I want to thank all of you for being here today. I really want to thank, I want to put a very special shout out to all the caregivers as well. You know, one of the first things, and I've experienced this as a parent, when our children are young, they are not talked about. What do you see your kid doing when they're an adult? Where do you see them working as an adult? And to see the caregivers here supporting their children to have a career. We're not going to be around here forever. And so we want our children to thrive and be able to be successful. And I see a lot of success in this room. And I really, so very special thank you to the caregivers, special thank you to all the individuals here, and thank you to the businesses for coming out here. We are a partner. We cannot do this without your support and without you opening your doors and wanting individuals, because you see the value and bringing them on their team. And then finally, thank you again to Judy. I don't know where Judy went, but thank you so much to Judy for all the efforts putting this event together and for letting us present. I did tell her that we are the primary funder, so you have to let us present. So thank you though for all your patience, and thank you everyone for attending today. And then now I'm going to be passing it to our colleagues over at Department of Rehabilitation. So please welcome Maureen McIntyre. I meant one ahead of you.
Hello, can you hear me? I have mic issues. There's probably something that other people have dealt with in their lives. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm sick, so I apologize ahead of time, because, you know, I could cough or something. But can I tell you how excited I am about what I heard this morning? I mean, this was really exciting stuff. Nothing I've heard like recently at all. So I am Maureen McIntyre. I'm the Regional Director for the California Department of Rehabilitation. And so I'm in this area more or less. So my area is the San Fernando Valley, like the whole valley. And then I also have all the way up to Lancaster and Palmdale and Monrovia, but there are 3 other districts just in this area. There's Orange San Gabriel, there's the LA South Bay, and the Greater LA District. And all 4 of us kind of work together and serve as many people as possible. How many of you have heard of the Department of Rehabilitation before today? Okay. I'm not going to ask who's had our services. If you have complaints, Michael's right over there. So what we do is we've been around a really long time. And I've been around a really long time. In fact, I've been around so long, supported employment didn't exist when I started with the department. It was like starting to exist. That was in 1984. So we didn't have supported employment yet in California. It was the brand new newest thing. So all these years later, here we are doing other things. And our department, our mission is to serve, we work in partnership with consumers and other stakeholders to provide services and advocacy in pursuit of employment, independent living, and equality for Californians with disabilities. And guess what? We're changing our name. This is brand new news. We're actually having focus groups or meetings or webinars next week to talk about what we've come up with as our ideas and then to get our stakeholders' input on what to call ourselves. We will not be rehabilitation anymore. So, yay. Thank you. I'm pretty excited about that because when I first started in 1984, I mean, rehabilitation was just a name. It's our family business, by the way. My whole family's in the business. But I didn't have this conception of it, and that kind of changed over the years. So as we moved through the years, all of a sudden it became associated with substance use disorder and with also like being incarcerated. Not saying that that's, being justice involved is like this horrible thing or anything. Nothing like that. It's just, it kind of limited us, I think, and people had this misperception. We do serve individuals who have barriers to employment, and they can be justice involved, and they can have a developmental type of issue, or, it can be a whole spectrum of things. So what we do is we do tailored services, and they're like individually prescribed for each person. So you might hear, oh, so-and-so got this, and so-and-so got that, but really it depends on your needs. And we also have, and we'll talk, I think, a little bit about how we really want to promote self-advocacy. We want you advocating for yourself. It might not feel that way when you're calling our department. You might hear you might get but no, this is what it's all about. So we're cool with you complaining about stuff. I used to be the chief of the customer service section. Did I hear complaints? I heard complaints all day long. No, not personally, but I saw them. I got copies of them. So I know that nothing's perfect. And we do have a lot of new staff all the time. And it's partly because that's just the way the world's going now. People are hopping from job to job quite regularly. So it's just what we're dealing with. All right, so what do we do? As I mentioned, we are here to remove barriers, whatever those barriers are to employment. And a couple examples here. We have training. We have placement in employment. But there's other barriers too. We work with students, and one of the things we want to do is help a person who's never looked for work before and maybe has some behaviors or whatever that they might feel like lock them out of work. It might be a way that you speak, or maybe you don't feel confident presenting yourself, so we work on that. We have people who we'll focus on you specifically. We have a whole team, so it's not just the counselor. It used to be just a counselor, and they'd have this caseload of 150, 200 people, and they'd try to do everything. And now we have like a team of people that help. In fact, one of our regional business specialists is here, Marcel. Marcel is fabulous, and he has his own group of people he works with, but he's also the lead business specialist for our district, and he's fabulous. So. All right, so we have a process. Everybody has a process. It's just part of the deal when you apply for anything. Social Security, it's just part of the deal. You got to go through it. However, in recent years, we have done a pretty good job, I think, of changing it, the way we do eligibility. We found the way, and other states are like banging down our door to say, how do you do that? So most people, and this is the vast majority, are found eligible within 5 days of applying for services. That didn't used to be the case. People used to walk in the door with all their medicals and everything, and still they would take 2 months to find them eligible or extend it or whatever. So what we've done is we have empowered our counselors to use their judgment or use the information that's available. Or how about this? You already had a case before. You don't have to go through all those hoops anymore to be found eligible. Now, the next step is after you're found eligible, so usually within like 5 days, the vast majority, then there's a planning time though. And this is when you get involved the most. Because, this is your plan, not the counselor's plan. This is not the department's plan. This is your plan. This is what you want to do. We have limitations, of course, on what and how we can do things, but we are here to support you as best we can based on our own regulations and issues like that. At that time, then, as you're working with your counselor, develop your plan. It's called the IPE, the Individualized Plan for Employment. Everybody gets one. We also have a portal now. And the portal is, you can work it from a cell phone. And so it's much quicker now. We don't have to wait around to get things signed. If you've got access to that cell phone, then you can click on something and then you have approved your plan, just like that. And so it just communicates with your email. It's also a way to upload like your grades and stuff like that, things that have slowed down people in the past. So all of these things, we're empowering everyone to take charge and get it done. And it takes a village, right? And it's not just we sit back and let it happen. No, we've empowered all the consumers we're working with to actually have a big part in getting stuff into their record. So it's a great thing, a little portal there. And then there's services. Of course, services, as I mentioned, are directly related to the needs of the individual. So it's not like so-and-so got this, so I'm getting this. It doesn't work like that. It's what you need, and we do our best to provide the services you need to become employed, which is our goal. Employment, number one. That's the last thing on there. Employment. That's what we're here for. All right, back to the application. There's all kinds of ways to apply. You can walk into an office. You can go online. Online, it just goes directly to the office that's associated with your zip code. Sometimes it gets it wrong. And then we're happy to readjust and send you to the right office. You don't need to have an appointment. You can walk in and be served. Sometimes an appointment works best, but it's all up to the individual. Or you can be referred from a community partner or a school. So those are, there's other ways too, but they always say, oh, you can apply on a napkin. I've never taken a napkin as an application, but I don't know how many times I've heard that, so apparently you can. We are federally funded, so about 80% of our funds are from the federal government, and then the state of California makes up about 20% of them. So it's a matching program. We are in every single state in the country, and in the territory. So we're in Guam, we're in Puerto Rico, and so, but we're the largest, California. We're at the forefront of everything that's cutting edge. We're doing things that other states aren't even doing. So we're having this big old conference next week. It's in Washington State, Washington, D.C., and all of the high mucky-muck people from all the rehab departments in the whole country are going to be there talking, and we're on a bunch of panels because of all the great things we're doing. Other states are saying, how do you do that? We want to try that too. So that makes us really excited that we're actually changing things, because the first 30 plus years that I was with this department, I didn't see very many changes. So I've seen a lot in the last 5 or 6 years, so it's very exciting. Eligibility is determined by the counselor who looks at barriers to employment. That's a lot of like rigmarole about what you're going to need to, what we look at to develop the plan, your resources, individual interests and experience and stuff like that. And then we also want to make sure that an assessment is made that you're capable of achieving employment. That's important. But we try everything to All right, so this is just talking about what the assessment and planning process is. There's career planning, there's career exploration that's done. We try to, direct a person to what's of interest to them. We have vendors who help us with that as needed. We also expect, to the best of your knowledge, you to go out there and find what you need too, because this is your plan, and something that the counselor comes up with might totally miss what you need. So it's okay to say, no, I need this, and to really press for that. So do the research, find out what the requirements are, because it's really hard when you choose a goal that doesn't really exist in your area if you're not willing to move. So that happens a lot in our business, is people want to do something and they find a school, and maybe there's a school locally, but if there's no employment for it, that might not get supported unless you're willing to move, because that's our goal, is to become employed, right? It's not just to get trained or whatever. People used to think of us as almost like the Department of Training, and we're not. We're about employment. That's our number one goal. We also do independence and independent living, and then we're also on the initiatives related to equality and all that too. I'm just going to skip the rest of that stuff. So when your IPE is developed, your individualized plan for employment, your goal will be chosen. That's your vocational goal based on what you've chosen as your goal. Then services are tied directly to that goal. So if you're doing something that, I don't know, I have no examples of that, but let's say you want to be a truck driver or something. Well, we wouldn't send you to film school unless the film school had something to do with truck driving film school, if there was such a thing. So I don't know about that. But, and then we ask you, just like what they said earlier, the DDS folks said about you can choose providers. If somebody's you have a relationship with a provider, you've had success with them, that's good too. That's okay. There's also timelines that can be changed, but we try to have goals that have a date. This will happen by this, and that, because that's the way life works. You don't just go into something willy-nilly. You got to have a plan, right? Something that makes sense. And then also your plan will list what your responsibilities are and what our responsibilities are. Everybody has responsibilities. We're all in this together with the same goal. All right. What we have is we have a lot of resources, a lot of tools. Everybody receives the counseling and guidance, referrals for assistance from other agencies. We have career education training services. That's a big part. And then we also pay for post-secondary education. That includes the cost of the books and supplies, transportation, tuition costs. And once a person's through with training, if they needed the training, then they can move to the direct placement services, and that's when someone like Marcel will step in and assist, or we might refer to an outside vendor for placement. We also fund part of the supported employment costs as well. We also have, an on-the-job training. How many of you have even heard that we do on-the-job training, that we pay for? Very few, right? Because we don't promote it enough. And this is where we partner with the employer. The problem is the employer has to agree that they're going to hire this person. It's different from a paid work experience, like a PIP or a paid paid internship program. It's different from that because this one's going to come with a job. And the amount we pay for it is based on how much it costs to train the person and how long it's going to take. And that's even if you have a degree in something. So if you find an employer and they say, well, I'm not sure, it might take a little extra time to train you, well, we offer this. And it doesn't have a lot of limits on it. So it's really fascinating thing that we don't explore enough, but it's pretty cool. We also do union dues and equipment and stuff like that, and uniforms, transportation, all that. So moving on to case closure. When it's time to close your case, or you're closed, what we're looking for is successful closure, right? So we need to know who you're working for, how much you're making, where you're working, who your supervisor is. We're not going to call your supervisor, but the feds require us to put that down. So we want We're going to need that kind of information. And we have to make sure that for you it's the right fit. It might not work for you. You might get into a job and say, okay, this is what I want to do, but not for this person. You know, it doesn't mean we're just going to close you because you found this job. No, it has to be the right fit. And you have to be employed for at least 90 days before we close successfully. And it has to be in the same goal as what we put on your IPE, so they have to match. So it's not like we can close you out doing customer service if your goal was editor or something like that. All right, a few things that I didn't mention, but you know, I don't know if we're going to have time for questions right now. But a few things that I didn't mention that we are doing as well is I think Hilary mentioned a little bit, we have these sector-based caseloads now, and they're very specific. And we have like 6 different sectors, logistics, and entertainment isn't one of them, but doesn't mean it won't be in the future. So these are people who, the counselors get to know an industry very well, as opposed to, you know, you walk into a counselor now and they have to know a little bit about a lot of things. Well, these counselors will know a lot about one thing or one sector, and they're not restricted by where you live. You can have a counselor that's up north if that's their specialty. The one that's really doing gangbusters, I have to say, is the medical. So the medical is doing great. But one day, maybe we'll have one for this sector, we hope. So, and we also have civil service too, that we're working on in this area. In fact, my district has a pilot that we're working on that's more civil. But you know, civil service also has media jobs. It has jobs in the entertainment realm. So don't think you're all just limited to that. And you got to think about, okay, what's my future? Am I looking for something that's more permanent, that maybe has enough, you know, a paycheck that comes in once a month? How about that? I mean, that's part of the problem with a job in entertainment. Sometimes they're more like gig, or, you know, it's that temporary thing and you're always looking for work. So you got to think about that too. But there's all different ways to pursue our goals. We actually do have a special program working with students. So it's students with disabilities, and it's anyone between the ages of 16 and 21. They have to be enrolled in school. It can be high school, it can be post-secondary education, it can be a voc ed, some kind of, it's called student services. Student services are specific services offered for youth aged 16 to 21, and they receive 5 services, including a paid work experience. So we have that. We also have paid work experience for adults too, not just for the kids. And I think Hilary mentioned that earlier. It also has self-advocacy training, post-secondary counseling. So that's counseling about what happens after high school, career counseling, and what was the one I'm missing? I'm counting 5, I'm missing one. Oh yeah, it's like soft skills. So employment skills, you know, things you need, how to do a resume and all that good stuff. So it's, that's tailored to that group. But we also can work with youth with disabilities, 14 up to 24. They don't have to be in school to get that, but it won't be the same exact student services that I just mentioned. All right, so we do have assistance with self-employment. We are limited, though, if it's considered a nonprofit. It's not. We can't support it as a nonprofit because we're here for profit. But doesn't mean someone working at a nonprofit earns no money. But it's just part of our regulations right now. It's not for that. We could certainly direct you to the right organizations that can help you get that started, though. So I would refer you back to your counselor if you have one, or to open a case and talk about that. Sounds like an excellent idea to me.
Got one more question here.
Okay, and then I need to.
This is a relatively short question. I saw on the IPE that the case isn't closed for 90 days. let's say you get fired on day 91, would you be able to reapply?
Absolutely. You can come in that day, the next day, and they will just basically reopen the case because you've already been found eligible, and it just kind of slides into the next one. Happens all the time. Sometimes I open it up and I see 5 cases. So people come and go. We also do support interim goals. So let's say you've never worked before. Your big goal is up here, but you need some work experience paid that goes beyond 300 hours. So you can get assistance, especially from our in-house business specialists like Marcel, who can help you find that job. And then we're not going to close you out if that's not your goal and that you all know that you're still working towards your goal. Some people want to do that while they're still in school too. So they'll find a job and we'll help them find the job and support them in that job with the whole understanding that that's not going to be time for the case to be closed. So there's a lot we can do. We can be very creative. If your counselor's not creative enough, ask to speak to the manager, because this is how things get done. You know, you don't have to accept a no necessarily. We try to get to yes, we really do. So if you're finding that brick wall, ask to speak to the manager. And if that doesn't work, ask to speak to their supervisor, the district administrator, and on. Because we're here to get you where you need to go. All right, it should make sense. I have a little quote for you before I turn it back over to Hilary. I hope it comes up on my phone here. Okay, I don't know who said this, I'm sorry, but it sounded good to me, and it's what I feel. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Sometimes in life you're going to find that you hit the metaphorical wall. You're just going to hit that wall. Or sometimes you're just about to do what you've always dreamed of pursuing. Go do it. Don't wait around. Just go do it. Ask for the help you need, but don't wait for the optimal situation because it's going to leave you in the dust. Just do it. It's okay. I want to encourage you. So thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to wrap this up really quick. Now that you've been filled with a lot of information, really I just want to let you know that Zavikon's here to help. So we have been working with both of these organizations, and we can help you navigate and leverage these programs and use them in a way that is best for you. We provide, I'm not going to go read through all these, but we provide wraparound services to help both employers and employees navigate all of this and create really fulfilling, meaningful, and impactful employment experiences. So please reach out. These are here for you. And I think these help open doors. We're seeing it work. It's happening, momentum is building, and we would love for all of you to be a part of it. That's it.